Arsenal 2, Brighton 0. It's finished at the Emirates. I've literally just walked in the door. I was there tonight. And do you know what? That second half performance was a joy. The first half, we're going to come back to. We're going to talk about the team lineup. We're going to talk about the actual performance, individuals that deserve a mention. And we're going to talk about the draw for the quarterfinal now of the Carabao Cup that Arsenal are, of course, in. We have drawn Crystal Palace at home. And there's some other draws that we're going to discuss as well, other teams that are still in this competition that we need to talk about, and who we see as a huge threat in this competition. And our Arsenal, now favourites after Liverpool have been knocked out, whether they were favourites the way they're playing at the moment, who's favourites for this competition, and should Arsenal do all they can to go and lift this trophy? My opinion is absolutely yes, we should. Let's start with the team lineup, shall we? Because it was one that I'd predicted everything right other than two positions. I thought he would have gone with Trossard on the left. He went with Eza. I was cool with that. And I thought he probably would have started Gyökeres up top, but he went with Harun Anus, which was very, very shocking for me. I didn't expect to kind of see that. 17-year-old Harun Anus, who we will touch on. Max Dowman got a start. We're definitely going to talk on him because there's no way that he's 15 years old. Let me tell you that. And of course, the back line saw Nkapie come in, Mosquera come in, Ben White come in, Kepa starting goal, and of course, Lewis-Skelly at left back. We had Norgard in the middle, Ethan Nwaneri and Marino. And then, as I say, the front three of Eza, Dowman, and Harun Anus. And I said, when I did my predicted 11, that it might be weak, it might be wholesale changes. But I must be honest with you, I wanted to see exactly what Mikel Arteta did. And for the first time, I was like, thank you. Because we actually brought on players to win the game. We didn't start them. We didn't go really mega strong. We didn't go over the top with it and kill the games off 3-0. And in an ideal world, you either start strong, take your players off, or you start with a B team and bring on players to win you the game. And that's basically what Mikel Arteta did. Now, I've got to be honest with you. In the first half, Brighton could have been 2-0 up. At least it could have been maybe 3-0. I thought they were very good. And I was impressed with what I saw. I thought that they were passing the ball around nicely. I thought there were some players I hadn't really seen or heard of that were doing quite well. Put themselves through to have chances where Kepa had to make saves. They went wide of a couple of efforts. And I was a bit worried at how easy it was to open Arsenal up. It was a different back line. Lewis-Skelly was getting caught out in the first half a couple of times. And Arsenal didn't look as solid without Gabriel, Saliba, Timber and Calafiori. But we still didn't concede. We still did not concede. So Kepa made some good saves. Ben White and Mosquera deserved a mention in the first half because I thought in the first half, both of them were very good. I actually thought Ben White was one of our better players in the first half, and he had quite a good game, I thought. Mosquera looks very good. I think he made one mistake at the end, towards the end of the game, but other than that, was very solid in the way that he played. Nkapie, I like him. I like him. Old school. Reminds me a little bit of Thomas Vermaelen in the style that he plays. Old school defender, likes to go in aggressive. I like that. I like that. Lewis-Skelly got into the game, and I thought he had times where he looked very skillful, driving forward on the ball. Always love him on the football. Very, very impressed by what I saw there. And then we go into midfield. I don't think in the first half, any of our midfield trio had a good game. Ethan Nwaneri was sloppy in his passing, and some of that was because he was trying to do too much. Some of it he was trying to impress. He was trying to be too technically gifted, where at times he just needed to keep it simple. Some of it was just sloppiness of passing, giving the ball away. Marino, I never really feels gets into the game when he plays in midfield. I like to see him higher up in the final third, where I actually see him providing some strength with his attributes. I didn't think he did enough of that today. I thought he was quite quiet in parts, in particular in the first half. And then I look at Christian Norgard, and I thought he was the worst player on the pitch. I've got to be honest. I just think he's slow. I think he's quite sloppy. Gave the ball away a bit. He's better off the ball, but on it, it don't look great. He's not as good as Partey or Jorginho on the ball. And I appreciate it's only been a couple of games, but I don't think he's been a player that I've been impressed with so far. Let's say that. And then we move to the front line. Harriman and Anus in the first half didn't have much of the ball, if I'm honest with you. I don't think we got it much to it. Eze, particularly quieter first half, but Max Dowman. what are we seeing? Like, what are we actually seeing with this kid, man? I don't think people appreciate that it's half term, so he can actually play at the moment. He's a 15-year-old kid, and he doesn't play like a 15-year-old kid. I have never seen a player at this age deliver what he's delivering technically in the world of football. Now, there are players going back in history that have done this. I'm sure that it was less accessible years ago to go and see with your own eyes. But I've got to be honest, I think he's mentally good, like so good. The drive on the ball, walking past players with ease, getting kicked, doesn't care, gets back up. Getting kicked, gets back up again. We can't control this 15-year-old kid, so we're just going to boot him up in the air. That's basically what Brighton said. We can't do anything. We've got no answer. He's beating us every time, so we're going to have to kick him. I love him. I think he's going to be a special talent. I don't think that he's even bulked up yet. Do you at 15? I mean, I never did. Took me to 18, 19 before I started to get some bulk on me. This kid is exceptional. What a talent we have on our hands. And what I love the most about Max Dowman is not the fact that he gets up when he gets kicked, not the fact that he's beautiful to watch, not the fact that he's aesthetically pleasing and technically gifted. It's the fact that everybody else has so much trust around him that at 15 years old, these professionals and seasoned professionals are saying to him, I'll give you the ball, mate, because I think you're good enough. I'll give you the ball. I'm 25, 27, 31, 28, and I'm going to give you, the 15-year-old, the ball. Now, Ben White had a very good first half, and so did Mosquera, because I felt like they did quite a lot to actually include Max Dowman and get him involved. But he was the only one in the first half that was exciting going forward, Max Dowman. Nobody else really was. Little flicks and tricks, I suppose, from some, but nothing really drove us forward like Max Dowman did. I thought he was absolutely brilliant, I've got to be honest. Absolutely brilliant. And it's a shame when he had to come off, really, because you kind of want to see more from him. You want to see him score. You want to see him assist. You want to see him drop the shoulder and take a dig. And I think the first time everybody really saw this guy was against Newcastle in pre-season, and everybody raised their eyebrows and went, wow, who's that? Now, people will throw Messi and Ronaldo and Lamine Yamal and Rooney and Michael Owens and God knows who at me, but I have not physically seen anybody this consistently good at 15 years old. I've seen it at 16. I saw Theo Walcott, I saw Wayne Rooney, I saw Michael Owen, I seen Lamine Yamal only last year, 2 years ago. We saw how good they were. But at 15 years old, I've not seen it. He's the youngest starter ever for Arsenal now at 15 years old. And I think he is going to be an absolute star. He does not play like he's 15 years old. His intelligence is ahead of his game. His level of ability is ahead of his game. His footwork is ahead of his age. His all-round play is ahead of his age. The guy, I've run out of superlatives for him at his age. Now, people might think we go over the top. He hasn't scored tonight. He hasn't set up a goal tonight. But he was clearly the best player on the pitch at times. It's scarily good. And when no one's got an answer other than just kick him, you know you've got a decent player there right now. So for me, very, very impressed with Max Dowman. Thought he was outstanding. Thought he was exceptional in parts. And for me, he was probably my man of the match tonight, if I'm honest. Alongside Ben White and Mosquera, I think deserve a mention. Then we get into the second half. And if I'm honest with you, I think Mikel Arteta put a little bit of a rocket up him, if I'm honest. Because I think we came out completely different. And I don't think we were bad in the first half. I just don't think we did a lot. I don't think we created enough. I thought we were quite flat. The atmosphere was a little bit flat. It was fairly busy where I was sitting tonight. I think in the upper tier, there was quite a few spaces, but the atmosphere wasn't amazing. It never really is on a Carabao Cup night. There's a lot of young people there, which is great, by the way, because they get to see their team. And for the first time, some of them tonight were very young that were there, that were watching. But the atmosphere is not quite the same. But it was fairly busy. But the second half just was lifted. And Max Dowman was one of those. Ethan Nwaneri come into the game in the second half. Eberechi Eze come into the game in the second half. Marino, a lot better in the second half. And defensively, I thought we were really good. The first goal was great. I really like it. I think it's a brilliant bit of work down the left-hand side. You've got Eza, you've got Lewis-Skelly, you've got a brilliant flick from Marino, you've got a great ball from Lewis-Skelly, and maybe the keeper might have to do a little bit better to try and get it, but Ethan's put it in the bottom corner, and we go 1-0 up. And Ethan was actually looking a lot more confident from that point. And in fact, the whole team and the crowd were lifted from that point forward. I thought that was a very good show from what we've seen from Arsenal in that kind of moment onwards. Eza was balling out. He looked very, very good moving forward. Lewis-Skelly grew in confidence. I thought Ethan Nwaneri looked excellent going forward in that second half, much more than he did in the first. Marino getting involved, using his body, actually driving us forward a bit more in that second half. And then, of course, Max Dowman was still there. And then Mikel Arteta at 1-0 up thinks, let's kill this game off. And he brings on Timber. He brings on Gabriel. He brings on Bukayo Saka. He brings on Declan Rice. And he brings on Leandro Trossard. 5 players that have all been starting week in, week out for Arsenal. And I liked that because it shows that he is taking this seriously. He's shown he's taking this game seriously anyway. Maybe he won't in the next few weeks. We might see something different. But right now, we're in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, and he's proven he wants to go and do something special by lifting this trophy. Because for me, that showed that he does believe. We saw tonight Liverpool play a team that I recognise about 3 names of, and then on the bench had a load of kids. They got slapped up 3-0 by Palace, who we've now got, by the way. Yeah, which means we would have had Liverpool if they would have gone through. So let's be real, right? Let's be real. I honestly do not believe that Arsenal should not be able to win this competition, because the squad depth proves that we can go in all 4 competitions and compete. That's what I would say. That's what I would say. So the subs come on, and straight away we look a threat. Gabriel's organising, Gabriel's talking, he's barking orders. This is why he's my captain, by the way. Yeah, Declan Rice, I love it. Vice captain for me. Gabriel, he's the one who should be wearing this, in my opinion. Shouldn't be Saka or Odegaard. It should be Gabriel. Rice is the vice. That rhymes. So for me, Gabriel comes on, he's barking orders, he's telling people where to be, he's shouting at Nicholas Jover's shouting back. And I'm thinking, we look more dominant from set pieces all of a sudden. He's being aimed at, he's winning the ball, he's talking to everybody. It's looking very good. And then we get the second goal, which, let's be real, was created by our best player this season and our best player of last season, Jurriën Timber. The guy is a machine. He takes the ball at right back position. He just keeps running. He keeps running. He keeps driving. He keeps driving, and no one can touch him. And then he flicks it through. And Harry Manus, I'd love to have seen scored. But it gets saved, and it rebounds to the guy you do not want it to fall to, Bukayo Saka. And it's 2-0 Arsenal. And I actually thought Saka was a threat when he came on. I thought Gabriel was excellent. Declan Rice covered every blade of grass, as he always does. Jurriën Timber driving us forward for the goal. Everybody played a part again. In the movement for both those goals, you actually saw different players getting involved in every single one of them. The first goal, we saw Marino's flick. We saw Ethan's finish. We saw Lewis-Skelly's assist. We saw Eza's build-up play. And then from the right-hand side, we saw Timber driving forward, Harry Manus, and then Saka. Ethan Nwaneri finishing it off. This is really good. Seeing different people score. I think there's only 3 or 4 players that haven't scored a goal for Arsenal so far this season. That's amazing. Out of a squad that's been fit, probably 15, 16 players, majority of them are scoring. So I'm very, very impressed with what I've seen so far from Arsenal. And we didn't concede again. Another clean sheet with a different goalkeeper and backline, a different 11. I'm seriously impressed by what I'm seeing. I'm really impressed by how compact and resolute that we are, how solid that we are. We just got to keep plodding along. We are going to lose games. We are going to drop points. It's going to happen. It's how we lose points that matters to me. It's how we don't win the game. And right now, things are looking good. We've got 3 away games now. We don't go back to the Emirates until after the international break in the North London derby. We've got Burnley away, Slavia Prague away, Sunderland away, A lot of travelling now in the next week. A lot of travelling. Burnley away should be 3 points. Slavia Prague should be 3 points. And Sunderland should be 3 points. But all three of those are going to be difficult for different reasons. Burnley, there's a little bit of pressure on us because we're top of the league and that Burnley are playing well. Slavia Prague because it's a tough place to go. And also you've got Champions League night. And Sunderland because of how good they've been at home and how good they're looking in the league. Normally, you'd look at those three fixtures and go win, win, win. And actually, I do believe that we should and we will win all three of those. But it ain't going to be easy. This ain't going to be a 3-0, then a 4-0, then a 4-0. This is going to be tough. We have to get better in our final third, no matter what team we're picking up, we're choosing at the moment. We do have to deliver in all three of those games. I need to see 3 wins because it's so important that we get that, so that we can put pressure on the other teams. Now, Liverpool. Wow, what a mess. 5 losses in a row. And their next 3 games are Aston Villa, Real Madrid, and Manchester City. I wouldn't want to be Liverpool right now. Arne Slot looks like he's losing the plot. And for me, Liverpool are in a serious mess right now. Then we look at the draw. We've obviously got Manchester City, who are in that draw. They've drawn Brentford. Chelsea beat Wolves tonight. They come up against Cardiff. I knew it was going to be Cardiff. Fulham find themselves up against Newcastle at St James's Park. And then you've got Arsenal, who are going to be at home to Crystal Palace. And if you remember, last year, we actually had Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup and we went through. We got to that semi-final. We know what happens. We lost to Newcastle. But for me, I think we should be beating Crystal Palace. I think we should be. I think we go strong. The side that we finished with tonight is the side similar to what I'd start against Crystal Palace. I wouldn't be playing Harriman and Us up front against Crystal Palace. I wouldn't be playing the front 4 that we put out all together at once. I might give them all some minutes, that's for sure. But right now, I think we need to do... I think we need to go a little bit stronger against Crystal Palace. I think they will go fairly strong, Palace, to be honest with you. It's good that we're at home. We saw the other day how tough they can be. We only just about beat them 1-0 with a set-piece goal. They're going to be hard to break down. Maxence Lacroix's class. Mark Gare, he's great. They've obviously got Tariq Mitchell and Munoz, who's been very, very good for them at fullback. Dean Henderson in goal. And we know Adam Wharton and co are brilliant in midfield. And Mateta's always a nuisance. Sarr and Jeremy Pino both scoring tonight against Liverpool will give them confidence going into the game. So I think it's now going to be a case of we get towards the kind of December period and then we play that quarterfinal. I think the semi-finals are usually played around about January and then February, March is the final. I want to win this competition. Why can't we? Right now, Arsenal are favourites. I lie. We are. Chelsea aren't better than us. City aren't better than us. Definitely won't say that Palace, Brentford or Fulham are better than us. And Cardiff aren't better than us. So that leaves Arsenal to go and do their thing, which is that for the first time under Mikel Arteta with this team. He needs to win with this team. Now, I'm not saying the Carabao Cup will be enough. I don't think it is. I think we need to win the Carabao Cup to give us confidence and momentum to go and win again in May. But I would take a trophy. And I've said this. He wins that trophy, he gets another year for me. People say that's disgraceful. How can you say that? Because we won a trophy, man. It's been successful because we're doing that. It might not be the trophy we all want and love and believe and bow down to and see as prestigious. But do you know what? We've won it twice in our history, mate. Yeah? Twice in our history. That's not good enough. We need to go and win this trophy. We need to go and do another one in May. I do not deny that. Maybe we can go and do another 2. But right now, let's just take one game at a time. That's the way I see it. We'll do a couple of super chats before we get out of here. I want to keep it short because it's late. Lawrence says, Dan, can you see us doing the quadruple? Absolutely no chance, Lawrence, if I'm honest. I thought Liverpool would do the quadruple over Arsenal this season, and look how that's turned out. They're already out of a cup already, so there's no way we're doing that, bro. He also says, I think Liverpool is still reeling from the loss of Jota. I think that's definitely a culmination of it. I think it's a lot that's going on. I don't think Slot's been great. I think they're going to have effect on the players of what happened to Diogo Jota. And I actually think that what they've done is unsettle a settled team that was title winning, that Jurgen Klopp had kind of put together that he had inherited. And he's basically said, get rid of Trent and bring in this player, get rid of Robertson, bring in this player, get rid of one of your midfielder because Florian Wirtz is coming in, get rid of your guy up top because Isak's the guy. I think there's been too much unsettlement at the same time, which has caused a culmination of problems. So that's where I'm at with Liverpool. But do me a favor, people, hit like, make sure you hit subscribe on this one. And make sure you're following OK Jerseys. The code is 12man. You can get 8% off. If you want the new shirt, if you want the retro shirt, get anyone on the back as well. A lot of people are getting 10 Ezra. Make sure that you do that. You'll get a very, very cheap shirt over there with the code for 8% off 12man as well. So make sure you're showing them some love. And yeah, we will see you next time. Take it easy, people. We're out of here. Big up.